A lot of enthusiasm this past weekend on the West Coast for Hillary Clinton's visit. From Los Angeles to Northern California, everybody seemed to be waiting for the same thing. Was she going to give any hints about her plans for 2016?
We just wanted to show that she has the support that she needs to run for office whenever she decides.
She is looking quite presidential, I might say. So I believe there was a lot of hints.
People started chanting, just say yes, but she didn't really give a direct answer.
Well, let's look at some of what's behind the talk of inevitability. Of course, the fundraising prowess, the organization, the early endorsements. But that's what everybody thought in 2008. And a New Republic piece asks a provocative question. Is Hillary's nightmare a Democratic Party that realizes its soul lies with Elizabeth Warren? Let me bring in our company. Jonathan Allen, Politico's White House bureau chief. Nia Malika Henderson is the politics reporter for the Washington Post and host of Post TV's On Background. Good morning.
Good morning.
So let's start with Hillary, because she's kind of touring the country, doing speaking engagements. She's racking up political chits as if the Clintons don't have plenty of those already. Let me read to you what Noam Schreiber wrote in this piece. Quote, anyone who lived through 2008 knows that inevitable candidates have a way of becoming distinctly evitable. Jonathan, is that Hillary's biggest problem, is this sense of inevitability?
Certainly it's something that hurt her in 2008. I think she's spent a lot of this year trying to be as much under the radar as possible for her, which is essentially impossible, to borrow Noam's construct of inevitable to evitable. She's tried to make that possible. It's been impossible. But I think the plan has been to lie low as much as she can and try to preserve the political capital she had coming out of the State Department, where she was seen as above the partisan fray. I think in 2014 you're going to see a lot more explicitly political work.
And as much as we talk about Hillary already, Nia Malika, then that leads to the question of, if not Hillary, who? Let me quote again. The candidate would almost certainly have to be a woman, given Democrats' desire to make history again. She would have to amass huge piles of money with relatively little effort. Above all, she would have to awaken in Democratic voters an almost evangelical passion. As it happens, there is precisely such a person. Her name is Elizabeth Warren. And they make the comparison to Bill de Blasio, kind of indicating maybe a liberal's time has come. What do you think about that?
Well, I think the big question, as that article raises, is if not Hillary, who? Is it Warren? Can she actually excite that passion among that Obama coalition? Latinos, African Americans, young people, women. It's not clear to me whether or not she's just a boutique candidate right now. And if she's just a boutique candidate, can she essentially become a superstore type candidate in the way that you already see that Hillary Clinton is, in the way that Obama was able to do with that grassroots organization? I think the big question for Democrats right now is that they do seem to have all of their eggs in the Hillary basket. And then on the right, you, of course, have somebody like Chris Christie, who is very much a breath of fresh air. I think Warren is more of a breath of fresh air, but I think she's 15 years older or so than Chris Christie. So you wonder if he's going to be able to really capitalize on that.
Listen to us, assuming
assuming that all these people run, right? That's
exactly
sort of what we're saying, right?
This piece also talks about Warren's persona, and there's almost sort of this disconnect. She has not been somebody, Jonathan, who's been hogging the spotlight. She's not doing lots of filibusters and press conferences like, say, Ted Cruz. She has been described as deferential in the Senate. She's clearly well liked by her colleagues. But this piece describes her first ever Senate Banking Committee hearings, where it claims she set off a national furor with these comments.
The question I really want to ask is about how tough you are, about how much leverage you really have in these settlements. And what I'd like to know is, tell me a little bit about the last few times you've taken the biggest financial institutions on Wall Street all the way to a trial.
And she almost stunned the room into silence at that point. And Jonathan, that video has been viewed online 1 million times. She's almost like this media sensation in that, for somebody who speaks as quietly as she does, there's a number of videos about her that have gotten multi-million hits. What is it about her?
Well, she's certainly got a following. You know, the progressives are putting out bumper stickers that say, "I come from the the Elizabeth Warren wing of the Democratic Party." Look, I think she's speaking to a core value of the Democratic base, of the liberal base, that wealth has been concentrated in the hands of too few, and that it should be shared more evenly across the country. And I think that as a result of that, she's definitely connected with a lot of Americans, and particularly with the liberal wing of the Democratic Party. That said, it's not clear yet that that's enough. You know, Barack Obama had very strong rhetoric when it came to Wall Street, but as president of the United States, he's also often worked with Wall Street bankers to the frustration of a lot of liberals. And I think that anybody who gets into the office of the presidency has to weigh the needs of all the sectors of society, whether you're talking about government, business, nonprofit, et cetera. And so it would be interesting to see how Elizabeth Warren would position herself as a candidate for the presidency if she were to run. Again, you know, she was one of 20 senators, Democratic women senators, who signed a letter
endorsing
urging Hillary to run.
Yeah,
that's right.
Right.
So really quickly, Nia Malika, I think that the key question here is, and again, we're out of time, what are the chances Hillary doesn't run, which obviously would be a big opening for somebody like Elizabeth Warren?
That's right. I mean, from the folks I've talked to who are close to people in the Hillary camp, it's a yes until it's a no. And who knows what would make it a no? Would it be a health issue? Would she sense that there is this growing Obama fatigue? That's the question, whether or not people would see a Hillary Clinton candidacy in 2016 as a third Obama term. And you see how well that worked out for somebody like Christine Quinn in New York.
All right, Nia Malika Henderson, Jonathan Allen, good to see both of you. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris.
Still to come, the Miami Dolphins player accused of being a bully, a racist, and a menace gets his chance to explain. Can Richie Incognito's interview rehabilitate his reputation? That's ahead.